Isaac Cruz, if I'm not mistaken, is with us. Martin, I'm gonna understand you'll do the translation for us. If we could get Isaac on and have Isaac give us a statement about fighting on April 16th and seeing himself back into the ring, because the last time we've seen him was against Tank Davis.
Isaac, ¿nos escuchás bien?
Sí, Martín, sí lo escucho bien.
Excelente. Bueno, contanos entonces, ¿cuáles son tus... hacernos un favor, poné la cámara en horizontal si podés. Pero, ¿cómo te sentís de cara a esta pelea? Y nosotros te vimos por última vez en el ring contra Tank Davis y dejaste una gran impresión. Ahora, contale a la gente cómo te sentís en este nuevo año.
Me siento muy contento, muy bendecido por empezar un nuevo año, y bueno, nos estamos preparando para darlo todo y que no sea la excepción en esta nueva pelea contra Yuriorkis Gamboa.
I feel blessed. I feel so good in this new year, and we're getting ready to be able to give our all and keep showing the best that Isaac Cruz Jr. has to offer in 2022.
Fantastic. I assume Yuriorkis is with us as well?
Yuriorkis, ¿estás con nosotros?
Hey, we need to pull him in the back door.
Okay, so we'll work on getting Yuriorkis and his shot up with us. Let me follow up with Isaac Cruz. And Isaac, I think, obviously we're going to see you against Gamboa on April 16th, but there was a lot of chatter that Isaac Cruz was going to face Ryan Garcia. What happened there? And tell us why Yuriorkis Gamboa.
Bueno, se suponía que, había rumores de que ibas a pelear contra Ryan Garcia en algún momento. La pregunta es, ¿por qué se cayó esa pelea? ¿Qué sucedió? ¿Y por qué finalmente elegiste pelear contra Yuriorkis Gamboa?
Pues porque nunca hubo una oferta real, nunca fue una negociación seria. Oscar de la Hoya le intentó hacer por redes sociales, el cual fue antiprofesional, y bueno, cuando mi promotor Sean Gibbons se puso o le contestó por vía Twitter, se esfumó todo el circo que estaban ellos creando por redes sociales.
There was never a real offer. There wasn't a real negotiation. Oscar de la Hoya, what he did was he tried to negotiate via social media, which I personally thought was unprofessional. And when Sean Gibbons replied via Twitter, then nothing really came of it anyway. So, that's when we pivoted and we went towards Gamboa anyway, because the Garcia fight was never anywhere close to becoming a reality.
And talk to us about, Isaac, your thoughts when you look back at the fight again against Tank Davis. What do you think about your performance? And when you looked at it again, did you say, maybe had I done this, I might have been successful in that fight? What is that?
Contanos, en la pelea contra Tank Davis, ¿qué pensás que quizás podrías haber hecho que decís, si hubiese cambiado este aspecto, si hubiese hecho este ajuste, podría haber sido exitoso?
Pues el presionar más, el haber dado una caída para Tank Davis fue lo único que nos faltó para que nos dieran la victoria el 5 de diciembre del año pasado.
I wish I had pressured more. Maybe if I had, taken him to the mat, like just knocked him down at least one more time, then I think on this, December 5th would have been a different story, and it would have been me with my arm raised.
You certainly, I think, got yourself a whole lot of fanfare after that fight. What was it like after that fight? Because it seems like the boxing public, you certainly endeared yourself to the boxing public, and they were like the performance you put on.
Bueno, ¿qué sensaciones te quedaron después de esa pelea? Porque claramente la gente fue la que le dejaste una muy buena impresión y ahora es como que tu perfil se elevó. ¿Vos qué sensaciones tuviste después de esa pelea?
Pues aún más motivado, con más ganas de brindarles a todo el público, a toda la gente, grandes peleas, y me estoy preparando más cada día para brindarles unas excelentes contiendas.
Everything and that happened in that fight, that it made me better. And now, even though my profile is raised, I don't let it get to my head. All I focus on is getting ready for my next fight and being able to provide the fans the show that they want, the show that they need, what they crave. And I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can give them.
Isak, Yuriorkis Gamboa told the boxing media, quote, "I'm going to see on April 16th if Isak Cruz can stand up to my power." How do you respond to that?
Bueno, Gamboa dijo que el 16 de abril, a ver si Isaac Cruz puede aguantar mi poder, mi fuerza. ¿Qué le respondes?
Nada, no tengo nada que responderle. Yo voy a hablar el día 16 de abril arriba del ring. Yo me estoy preparando, yo me estoy enfocando en el oponente y él puede decir lo que quiera.
Look, I have nothing to say. What I have to say is that my punches are gonna talk inside the ring. I'm ready for whatever he brings.
Fantastic. Well, who he brings is Yuriorkis Gamboa. I think we have him on. Let's see if we can get Yuriorkis up. And if we can, ask Yuriorkis if he could give us a statement about fighting April 16th and his opponent, Isak Cruz.
Yuriorkis, ¿nos escuchás? Yuriorkis, ¿nos escuchás bien? Hola, hola.
No. Sí, estoy escuchando.
Sí, hola, entonces ahí estamos. Perfecto. Si nos harías el favor de poner la cámara horizontal, por favor.
Estoy escuchando y algo que dijeron que no sé de dónde sacaron.
Sí, no, perfecto. Brian, could you please repeat the question so I can say to Yuriorkis?
Sure, Yuriorkis, if you would, talk to us about fighting April 16th on Showtime pay-per-view, and more specifically, your opponent, Isak Cruz.
Contanos tus sensaciones de cara a pelear el 16 de abril y más específicamente, ¿cómo te sentís con Isak Cruz como oponente aquel sábado?
Bueno, realmente me siento muy bien, ya que voy a tener una nueva pelea y voy a poder dar la oportunidad a todos los fanáticos y seguidores de poderme presenciar nuevamente.
I feel great, and the most important thing to me, what I value the most, is the fact that I'm going to be able to give fans the chance to see me fight once again and show them what I can do in the ring in Dallas.
Yuriorkis, you told the boxing scene that you are coming to make a big statement against Cruz on April 16th. What is that statement you're looking to make?
Vos ya dijiste, vengo a mandar un mensaje contra Isak Cruz. ¿Cuál es ese mensaje y por qué te sentís de esa manera?
Ese mensaje yo nunca lo he dicho.
He says that like he never said that, but okay, entonces, ¿cómo te sentís de cara a la pelea contra Isak Cruz? ¿Cuál es el mensaje que te gustaría mandar en esa pelea?
Yo quiero que, número uno, digan el mensaje que yo haya dicho. No que digan cosas que nunca he dicho. Eso es número uno que quiero dejarle saber a ustedes. Porque le están mandando un mensaje a un muchacho que nunca lo he dicho ni me dedico a esa cosa. Yo soy un profesional y yo subo arriba del ring a demostrar quién soy. Yo no le mando mensajes a nadie ni le estoy diciendo a nadie. A mí simplemente lo que sí hay que demostrarme arriba del ring que se viene a hacer una pelea y es todo lo que voy a hacer yo.
I'm a pro. I'm not in the business of sending messages or making statements. What I'm focused on is trying to become number one and being the best that I can be inside the ring in order to be my opponent. The rest is just talk.
Yuriorkis, last time we've seen you fight, you had the fight with Davis, which was an all-action fight before he got the stoppage late in that fight. Then we saw you lose to Haney as well. That fight went the distance. Why then will this fight be different against Isak Cruz, who's just as young and powerful?
Bueno, tus peleas contra Davis y Haney tuvieron resultados que quizás te gustaría haber podido cambiar, ¿no? Pero ¿por qué crees que esta vez contra Isak Cruz Jr., un boxeador que es similar a tus oponentes del pasado, ¿Por qué esto va a ser distinto? ¿Por qué el resultado va a ser positivo para Yuriorkis Gamboa?
Bueno, realmente nos estamos preparando con el objetivo de tener algo diferente y es la razón por la cual nos estamos enfocando. No hemos decidido definitivamente cuál va a ser el resultado, pero sí estamos enfocándonos para tener un objetivo mejor.
It's all about the preparation. We're getting ready to change the narrative, to change the outcome of the fight, and to make sure that with that kind of preparation, we can come out with the win on April 16th.
Is Yuriorkis Gamboa still one of the elite fighters of this weight division?
¿Es Yuriorkis Gamboa todavía uno de los boxeadores de elite de esta división? ¿Te sentís que tenés tu lugar en la cima de tu división?
Bueno, definitivamente al estar en este combate, está dejándole saber a todo el mundo que soy uno de los boxeadores que se puede contar en esta división.
My mere presence in this fight, the way that we are being prepared for this fight and what's at stake, that alone says that I'm still one of the top fighters in the division.
I think what makes this fight really unique is that you have two guys who can really punch. I'm going to ask it to both of you. I'll start with you, Cruz. Power is going to be the difference in this fight.
Isaac, ¿crees que el poder va a ser la diferencia en esta pelea? ¿Que un golpe puede cambiarlo todo? ¿Estás mudo, amigo? Ahí está.
No sabré ahorita expresarlo, lo vamos a ver el día de la pelea, pero yo mientras me estoy preparando y enfocando para el 16 de abril.
It's really not for me to say whether one punch can change it all or not. What I'm focused on is being prepared and being the most ready I can be really for April 16th. We'll see what happens inside the ring that day.
Yuriorkis, same question for you. Do you believe power will be the difference in this fight?
Yuriorkis, sentí que la misma pregunta. ¿El poder va a ser la diferencia? ¿Que un golpe puede cambiarlo todo?
Bueno, en ocasiones, en un combate, un golpe puede cambiarlo todo, pero eso no sería definitivo en este caso porque hay un plan de trabajo, hay un plan táctico, hay un enfoque y definitivamente la última palabra la tiene Dios en ese 16 de abril.
In the end, God has the last word. I have a tactical plan. I have a strategy ready to go for whatever happens. I'm ready for whatever eventuality is in my way, and I'm planning to face anything and everything.
Lastly, I see Sean Gibbons is with us as well, one of the promoters there of Cruz. And Sean, I wanted to at least give you the opportunity to get your thoughts on this fight. And as I asked we haven't seen him since the Tank Davis fight. And there are a number of people, he certainly endeared himself to a number of more fans after that fight. Why did we select Yuriorkis Gamboa? What should we expect?
Well, Brian, you nailed it on the head, man. People saw Cruz coming out party against Gervonta Davis. I mean, everybody thought Cruz was going to be an easy mark for Gervonta. He was going to take him out. He was no competition. And he literally ran Gervonta Davis almost out of the ring. So we're very excited. I mean, his Instagram handle went from 27,000 up to 185,000. So coming into this fight, there's a lot more expectations. People are excited to see him. And the reason Yuriorkis Gamboa was selected because he's a great fighter. He's a former world champion. He's an Olympian. He's a named fighter. He gave Gervonta a good fight, gave Devin a good fight. So it's a great gauge to see where Cruz does with him moving forward. And I don't care what people say, Gamboa always brings the A game, and better fighters bring out better fights in him. So we got a lot of respect for him, but I just think it's Cruz's time, and it's going to be a great night in Dallas, April 16th.
Fantastic. All right. I know there are members of the media who certainly want to ask Isak and Yuriorkis some questions. Let's get right to them. Mitch, if you would, allow members of the media to ask their questions.
Thanks so much, Brian. Let's go to Marco Perez from Boxeo de Colombia. Marco, go ahead.
Marco, estás en mudo. Sacale el mudo y ahí puedes hacer tu pregunta.
Ok, ahí perfecto. Muy buenas tardes para las dos, para Isaac y para Gamboa. Dos preguntas, una primero para Gamboa y luego para Cruz. Gamboa, ¿tú crees, cómo estás? Te ves bien, te ves bien. ¿Tú crees que esta pelea va a ser más de experiencia que esos golpes de poder que tú siempre has brindado en estos espectáculos?
Bueno, varón, definitivamente estamos en una edad longeva donde básicamente tenemos que acudir a la experiencia y fundamentalmente a la táctica en este combate.
Para Cruz.
Marco, déjame traducir esta pregunta. The question from Marco was, do you think that your experience and your power is gonna be the difference in this fight? And what Yuriorkis said was that, you know, he definitely does have the edge in experience, but at the same time, he's gonna rely on his preparation. He's gonna rely on the way that he set up his strategy in order to fight and be able to win any way he can.
Así es. Y esta pregunta para Pitbull. Buenas tardes, ¿cómo estás? Pitbull, ¿tú crees que los tres primeros asaltos con Gervonta Davis que te fuiste que él intentó hacerte daño en esos primeros asaltos, sintió tus golpes y empezó a hacer una estrategia diferente? ¿Tú crees que con Gamboa, un hombre que quizás va hacia adelante siempre, las cosas van a ser muy diferentes, que van a intercambiar mucho?
Pues todos los rivales son diferentes. Sabemos que Davis hizo un plan de trabajo, llevaba una estrategia, y yo creo que Gamboa igual está haciendo otro plan de trabajo. Nosotros nos estamos preparando y enfocando para cualquier tipo de plan que Yuriorkis nos presente.
Muchas gracias.
The question from Marco was that in his fight against Gervonta Davis, Gervonta felt Isaac's power, and that maybe changed his game plan a little bit. Do you think that's going to happen again with Yuriorkis, to where maybe he expects one thing and gets another? And Isaac said that really each fight is different, and I'm going to be ready for whatever Yuriorkis has to offer. I'm getting ready in a great way, and I'm going to show you guys everything, all that new that I can provide inside the ring during that fight.
Great. Thanks so much, Marco. Thanks, Martin. Let's now go to Rick Mohammed from Brawler Sports Media. Go ahead, Rick.
Rick, you got
all right. How's everybody doing, guys? Rick Mohammed, Brawler Sports Media. Isaac, after coming off of the type of fight that you had versus Tank Davis, like my man Brian Custer said, that catapulted you into like automatic superstardom. What will you do differently fighting Gamboa? Will it be pretty much the same fight plan? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Or of course you got to make adjustments based on the style fighter that he is. And I do believe that you are the new superstar coming up in this division. What can the fans expect out of you being on this big stage and this big platform come April 16th?
Bueno, Rick te está denominando como lo que él piensa que sos la nueva superestrella de esta división, que la pelea contra Gervonta Davis te catapultó a un nivel en el que no estabas antes. Ahora, contra Gamboa, ¿vas a mantener la misma mentalidad, la misma estrategia? O sea, básicamente, si no está roto, no lo arregles, o vas a ajustar algo en cuanto a táctica o estrategia o mentalidad para esta pelea contra Gamboa.
Estamos trabajando todos los puntos, estamos trabajando en lo bueno y en lo malo, en lo favor y en contra de Yuriorkis Gamboa, y bueno, nosotros nos estamos preparando física y mentalmente para salir con la victoria el 16 de abril.
We are working on absolutely everything. We have studied Gamboa in depth, and we're working on everything that we think is good and bad, in his favor and against him. I'm not really going to reveal anything specific at this point, but what I can promise you is that we're going to be ready on Saturday, April 16th.
Thank you, champ. And for Gamboa being the pedigree fighter that you come from and represent your country, Cuba and everything, and all the success and accolades that you've had in the sport of boxing, you're still in the hunt to become a world champion again, do you feel like your experience, all the ring savviness that you bring to the ring will be enough to outwit Isak and get the victory? And of course, like you said earlier, power is the key. Strategy, power, and who's going to be the better man that night. What's your take on your performance? And all those things definitely a factor come April 16th.
Bueno, sabemos que estás orgulloso de representar a tu país, a Cuba, dentro del ring, y que a la misma vez también posiblemente tu experiencia y tu poder sean la clave, como mencionaste antes. ¿Sentís que la combinación de tu experiencia, tu poder y tu mentalidad van a marcar esa diferencia en la pelea?
Bueno, realmente estamos tratando de llevar a cabo todas las opciones en esta preparación, con el objetivo de mostrarle a todos los fanáticos, a todos los seguidores y a la televisión que todavía Gamboa está en una posición correcta para seguir adelante.
Look, I'm gonna show everybody that's watching on TV, that's gonna be in the stands, it's gonna be ringside, that Yuriorkis Gamboa is still here to stay. That Yuriorkis Gamboa can still be the best in the division. That's gonna be the ultimate goal on Saturday, April 16th. You're gonna see it.
Thank you, champ. Good luck to both of you guys on April 16th. And a shout out to my man, Sean Gibbons. Respect. Let's go, champ.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Thanks, Martin. Appreciate it. Let's now go to Kirk Jackson from the Scope Network. Go ahead, Kirk.
Thank you, Mitch. I have questions for both Isak and Yuriorkis. I would like to start with Isak.
Go ahead.
What do you take away from your last fight against Gervonta Davis as far as going against the power, the skill, the speed, the overall experience that will lead you to success in your fight against Yuriorkis Gamboa?
Bueno, Isaac, ¿qué conclusiones sacaste de tu pelea contra Gervonta Davis que sentís que te pueden ayudar para tu pelea contra Gamboa tras haber enfrentado el poder, a la dinámica de un boxeador como Gervonta?
Bueno, pues me ayudó a ser más enfocado, a estar en todo momento dentro de la pelea y estar todavía aún más motivado para brindar grandes espectáculos y dar a conocer al mundo que un mexicano va a dar de qué hablar en 135 libras.
I learned a valuable lesson because during that fight I learned that I have to be focused inside the fight at every moment. I can't lose my focus at any time. And I'm going to show people that I'm the Mexican fighter that can rule the 135-pound division. I can promise you that.
Do you feel like in your fight against Gamboa that you not only have to win, but you have to win in dominant fashion to be considered in the same esteem as the other superstar lightweights in your division, such as Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, George Kambosos, Vasyl Lomachenko?
Bueno, Haney, Kambosos, Davis, Lomachenko, ellos están en la cima de la división, son considerados los cuatro fantásticos, ¿verdad? ¿Sentís que tenés que no solo ganarle, sino que ganarle de forma dominante a Gamboa para unirte a ese cuarteto y hacerlo un quinteto de favoritos en la división?
Pues yo me estoy preparando para lo que tenga que durar la pelea, sea un round, sean los 12 rounds, yo me estoy enfocando para brindar un gran espectáculo y nosotros vamos a hacer lo propio, vamos a trabajar duro para dar una sorpresa ahí a los grandes nombres que están en el 135 como campeones.
Okay, two things. I'm preparing to fight however long it takes to get that win. 1 round, 12 rounds, doesn't matter to me. I have to win and I have to put on a show for the fans. I'm well aware of that. And then, trust me, I'm going to be ready to show those 4 fighters that you mentioned that I can fight any of them and I belong right up there with any of them.
I love that. And my last question for you, Isak. Some observers may describe your style as awkward, but overwhelming with pressure and tough to deal with. Do you think that will scare some fighters away? Or do you feel like because of the added visibility that you have fighting Gervonta Davis and now fighting Gamboa, that this may actually lead to more guys wanting to fight you because of the potential lucrative paydays.
¿Sentís que tu nueva exposición, tu nueva plataforma combinada con tu reputación de ser un pitbull, de ser un boxeador que va y te quiere arrancar la cabeza, eso va a hacer que tus futuros oponentes quieran pelear contra vos más o que te quieran evitar?
Pues ahora sí que dependiendo de cada uno, si se quiere consolidar, si nos va a querer enfrentar. Pero si nos quieren dar la vuelta, pues nos van a evitar, ¿no? Entonces nosotros vamos a trabajar y presionar para que no tengan escapatoria y enfrentar a los mejores de la división.
It's really up to them. If they want to, showcase themselves, if they want to show that they belong, then they for sure are gonna want to fight against me. And if they want to go around me, then or they are kind of intimidated by me, then they're not gonna want to fight me. But I'm gonna make sure that whoever doesn't want to fight me, I'm gonna step in front of them and be like, no, I'm here, and you're gonna have to face me because Isaac Cruz Jr. is here to stay.
Thank you, Isak. And my next question for Yuriorkis. Yuriorkis, you have one of the more decorated resumes of any active fighter in recent memory, going against Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Ponce de Leon, Orlando Salido, Terrence Crawford. What inspires you to continue your career competing at a high level going into your 40s?
Tu currículum es intachable. Los oponentes que has tenido, las peleas que has forjado son impecables. Pero ¿qué es lo que te motiva para querer seguir peleando al máximo nivel a medida que te acercás al atardecer de tu carrera y llegando a los 40 años?
No, lo que me motiva es el coraje que tengo y la disciplina y el deseo de ser una vez más campeón del mundo.
What motivates me is the courage, the discipline, and the fire that burns inside of me to become a world champion once again.
Now, in spite of your great accomplishments and the resume of fighters you've gone against, do you feel like your career may be underrated? And does a victory over Isaac Cruz help change that narrative and add some respect to your name?
¿Sentís que en tu carrera quizás la gente subestima lo que has logrado y que quizás una victoria contra Isaac Cruz cambiaría esa narrativa y que te daría el reconocimiento que sentís que mereces?
Definitivamente muchas personas están ignorando mi calidad deportiva basado en la edad, pero el 16 de abril van a ver una diferencia.
Definitely a lot of people are overlooking what I still have left in the tank, what kind of quality fighter I still am. But people are going to see that just noise, and they're going to see the difference that there can be between us on April 16th.
Great. Thank you, Kirk. Lots of good nuanced questions there. Let's wrap things up here with a final question from Wilfredo Suarez from Boxeo Cubano. Wilfredo.
Isaac, ¿cómo estás, campeón? Willy Suárez de Boxeo Cubano. Campeón, Gamboa, como boxeador amateur, lo ha conquistado todo. Medallas de oro olímpicas, panamericana. Como boxeador profesional, lo ha hecho todo. Campeón mundial. Y le ganó en su momento a Salido, que como tú, en su momento fue considerado el pitbull. ¿Qué significa para ti, como un joven boxeador mexicano, pelear con un guerrero como Yuriorkis Gamboa, con todo el resumen que él tiene?
No, pues en primer punto le agradezco la oportunidad igual que me está brindando para poder pelear contra él. Respeto y es admirable lo que ha hecho en su carrera desde amateur. No cualquiera lo consigue, pero yo estoy aquí porque no le voy a regalar nada a nadie de lo que yo he conseguido, que me ha costado bastante lograr y adquirir lo que tengo. Y bueno, yo me estoy preparando para lograr lo que él en su momento tuvo, el campeonato del mundo.
Gracias, campeón. Y una pregunta para Yuriorkis Gamboa.
Déjame traducir esta. The question was, with Yuriorkis Gamboa's notable resume from the Olympics, through his opponents, and now wanting to be a world champion once again, how do you feel about fighting an opponent of the caliber of Yuriorkis Gamboa? And Isaac said that, first of all, I respect him and I thank him for giving me the opportunity of getting to fight him. And you know, his resume, everything that he has done as an amateur and as a professional, that's beyond reproach. That's something that's admirable no matter how you look at it. However, I'm not here to give up anything for anybody. I'm here to show that I can be one of the top fighters in the division and that I can stand in front of anybody, no matter how many medals, how many trophies, how many titles they have, because I'm coming for everybody.
Gracias,
Y ahora-
Martín. Una pregunta para Gamboa. Gamboa, de tus últimos oponentes, o de hecho, en toda tu carrera, uno de los oponentes que menos ha hablado o te ha faltado el respeto ha sido Isaac, que me sorprende que ha sido muy respetuoso contigo y con tu carrera. Pero sin embargo, tú me dijiste a mí y dijiste aquí hace un ratico que tu sueño es ser campeón mundial una vez más. Y Isaac está en el camino de tú cumplir esa meta. ¿Qué tienes que hacer tú contra Isaac para poder convertirte en campeón mundial?
Bueno, realmente lo que tengo que hacer es tener una victoria, que es lo que me define ser un campeón mundial. Ir alcanzando la victoria hasta el objetivo que me pongan a pelear por el título.
The question for Wilfredo was that Isaac has been actually one of the most respectful opponents that Yuriorkis has ever had. There hasn't been any kind of trash talk, really. So, but then again, Isaac is the one that's in your way to become a world champion. What do you feel like you have to do? And then Yuriorkis said that regardless of what happens, it's really up to me to get the win. Doesn't matter what anybody says. If I prepare the right way and I can do the things that I know how to do, then everything I want to accomplish is still very much on the table.
Fantastic. I want to thank the media for some great probing questions, and I'm going to swing it back to Brian for a final wrap.
All right. Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate it. Yuriorkis and Isak, you know, I think we'll wrap it up with this. You know, I know in the past when I've asked you guys this question, you said, listen, I want the big fights in this weight division. Isak, you had always said, I want Tank Davis. Yuriorkis, you said, I want the big fights. I want Tank Davis. Well, you both have fought Tank Davis now. So who is the big fight? Who's the big fish after this fight? Who's the big fish that Isaac Cruz, that Yuriorkis Gamboa wants? Let's start with Yuriorkis.
Bueno, ustedes dijeron anteriormente que querían pelear contra el pez gordo. Bueno, ambos ya pelearon contra el pez gordo, Gervonta Davis. Si ganás esta pelea, ¿cuál es el próximo pez gordo? ¿A quién tenés en la mira?
Bueno, realmente yo pienso que una vez que peleé con Isaac Cruz y logre una victoria, creo que me deberían poner a Davis, porque ya basado a la pelea que tuve con Davis, peleé 11 rounds con un pie partido y creo que eso no fue justo, tener una pelea así con esa ventaja. Y me quiero quitarle esa espina, porque definitivamente no me sentí cómodo peleando así, aunque llegué a 12 rounds, fue muy fuerte de mi parte y me sentí orgulloso de haber terminado, gracias a Dios que me dio la oportunidad de terminar el 12 round, pero no me sentí cómodo, no desarrollé mi plan táctico ni mi técnica correctamente para pelear de frente a él.
When I win against Isaac Cruz, I want the rematch with Davis, because I really didn't feel comfortable with the way that first fight unfolded. And, you know, thank God that I was able to withstand everything and I was able to get to the finish against Gervonta. But I felt that the way that fight went wasn't what I wanted at all. So I need another bite at the apple. I need to face him once again, and I need to show everybody that I can beat him.
Me refiero al pie mío, que tuve el talón de Aquiles partido y los 11 rounds con David, no me sentí cómodo, no me sentía cómodo, no tenía apoyo correctamente. Es la razón por la cual quisiera tener una pelea donde yo me sienta cómodo con él y pueda desarrollar mi maestría deportiva correctamente.
Now, to be clear, why did I not feel comfortable? Because my Achilles heel was just, you know, shattered. And imagine having to go 11 rounds feeling like that. So I want to fight him when I'm healthy. If I can feel healthy and 100%, that fight is going to be totally different.
And the same to Isaac.
Bueno, Isaac, misma pregunta. Entonces, si dijiste anteriormente que querías pelear contra el pez gordo, ya peleaste contra el pez gordo en tu última pelea, ¿no? Digamos que le ganás a Gamboa. ¿Cuál es tu estrategia, tu objetivo para llegar a la cima? ¿A quién querés?
Pues como lo he comentado en varias ocasiones, quiero salir primero de este compromiso con la victoria y bueno, posteriormente que me quiera dar la oportunidad a George Gamboa, Haney, Lomachenko o Davis.
Well, like I said before, I'm going to say it again. First things first, gotta win this fight. When I win this fight, then bring on anybody that you want. Lomachenko, Haney, Davis, anybody. Bring them on. I'm going to be ready for any of them.
Folks, I'm telling you, this is why this co-main is going to be really good. You got Isaac Cruz, the pit bull, taking on Yuriorkis Gamboa, former unified world champion, Olympic gold medalist, two guys who've got really big, thick hands, dynamite in their paws. They're going to slug it out. April 16th, Showtime pay-per-view. The main event, Errol Spence Jr., Yordenis Ugas.